And she said, but couldn't you hear people leaving during your set? and I said, no, I thought they were coming in. I started making songs when I was about 23 or 4, which is quite late, I suppose, but I was doing classical music and things before that, and hadn't really added up the two sides of playing music and making music, and also listening to music. That was the thing that making music kind of came out of. I went to music college, and then when I left music college I didn't know what to do, and I did loads of weddings, and spent a year kind of driving around to weird like venues and churches in like whatever, Basingstoke or Birmingham, doing. Then I realised that wasn't really for me, and I started writing songs a bit through some of the people that were on more like jazz and improvisation courses on when I was in music college. And then when I got out of music college I did some volunteering at Resonance when it was in Denmark Street, and met people there. I think I might have even, no, that was, I don't know, I didn't meet Ben, the Shimmy lot then. I made a record kind of living in, it's actually around here, you know, behind the St Leonard's, the church, yeah. The pub that used to be a squat called it was a pub called the Conqueror, but then it was a squat, and sort of lived there with Christian, capital K, who helped, and other friends, and made the first record. The first label was Static Caravan, which is this really lovely guy called Jeff in Birmingham. I suppose fairly soon after that made the second one, and felt like happy that was what I was doing, but carrying on with some bits of classical things on the side. And then on the third one I started working with Stolen Recordings, and then had the idea of asking Jarvis to produce it, so that sort of took the album in a really different direction, which I'm really happy about. But then I don't know, something I didn't really enjoy touring that album, and like lots of things have been put in place because of having his name attached to it that sort of didn't quite feel right, or fell away a bit afterwards. I felt like I didn't really know what to do with the harp or writing songs. I didn't really think I didn't feel comfortable with it. I felt like I was getting nerves, but I didn't get like stage fright. A certain level of stage fright is like normal, isn't it? But I felt like this is maybe more profoundly like not quite the right thing for me. And then so I sort of stopped a bit, and then after a while started trying to learn the bass with Jenny and then Sarah, and then that turned into Bassian. So then we made a record that came out last year. So there's a really big long gap between making a solo record. That was last one was in 2013, I think, and now, yeah. So then this, I kind of felt this one was more, maybe a bit closer to the first two records in a funny way, of more just intimately messing around with stuff. And that's sad. Yeah. I have done some other things, but yeah. I suppose I didn't really think I was making an album. I was just doing what I've always done. I got asked to do a gig by a really nice guy called Young Druid, or John T. Gust, and he was putting on this night where then he said if I would come and play harp and just kind of improvise, and that was quite kind of eye-opening because I just didn't really know that anyone would want me to do that. And for quite a long time, it was like 45 minutes, and it was just in this dark warehouse, and all these people just came, and they were like really young and not like, but you know, it was a nice crowd. And then he asked me to do it again like a year later, and I'd broken my wrist, so then I said I could do it on the keyboard because it was a bit less labour intensive. I don't know if I'm the much maligned, or maybe the overpraised microcorg. I really kind of do enjoy, but I've always quite enjoyed like synthesizers and things like that, but that's the only keyboard I've had and really played around on a lot. So I kind of had all these little improvisations and sound worlds and things, and then I did perform them at that as well, and then yeah, I kind of started getting more just into making, like fooling around with that and maybe instrumental music, and a bit thinking of, oh, it would be nice to do film soundtracks, or yeah, I think not writing words was also just a big liberating thing. Like, it doesn't have to be about me or anything, just exploring the sounds. So I didn't know I was making a record. I think people like, say, John T. Gust or Anya O'Dwyer or Lucy Railton, kind of contemporary people that just, and loads more, but I should have come with a list. Also, you know, Terry Riley, or just loads of people that like I've felt more, oh, you can just really explore your own thing to the nth degree, and it doesn't have to be contained within a 3-minute pop song, or like verse chorus. And I like the fact that they kind of make records that are not really recreatable live necessarily, but then they're all amazing live performers. Not that I am, but I come from kind of playing an instrument. And yeah, so maybe seeing how, like, listening to their music and also seeing a bit that, oh, it's possible, like maybe there is a new definition of, or maybe there people are interested to listen to sort of things like that, was an influence. Yes, Mary Lattimore, she's a nice harpist from America. Lucy Railton, I did mention already, I think it's really amazing, and Rodri Davis, if you're into so yeah, if you're into harp, those three are pretty amazing. Lucy Railton plays the cello. Oliver Coates, I still think is really, I mean, I just saw him perform at End of the Road, and it was extraordinary. John Johanna is a friend who's on Faith and Industry, which is Capital K's label. Kind of really begin to think he writes really amazing songs. I do think he's extraordinary. And John T. Gust, Young Druid, is amazing. And Dog Chocolate was such an amazing band. And like, trying not to just say all my friends. I can't think of any more. I'll think of more while we're talking. Not really. I've had bad reviews. The worst being one in like the Telegraph, where it was of a gig, and it was really, really bad. It was like the most crushing thing, but then fuck it, I didn't, like, yeah, someone said to me, because the person that told me about it said, didn't you see that thing in the Telegraph? I was like, no, I don't read it, and I didn't, what was it? And then she said, then she found it and showed it to me, and I was like, oh, that is really bad, yeah. It said something like overcomplicated and like boring and just really horrible things. And she said, but couldn't you hear people leaving during your set? And I said, no, I thought they were coming in because the door was going a lot. But yeah, anyway, it was, yeah, really bad. But I haven't had, no, I don't think so, not really. People always say, I think people always say stuff about the harp, and then they talk about like Joanna Newsom and stuff, and maybe that did do my head in quite a lot. And then that would be the main question in interviews. People would say, does it do your head in that people can, and then you're like, you're like double. But then now there's loads more people playing the harp, and I haven't done it for ages. And also, and it's kind of, yeah, I feel like it's probably less likely to be just one other person to be compared to, which is maybe refreshing. I've done all the things like gone to the wrong venue, gone on the wrong day, not brought the harp. I think everyone has done that, especially if you're solo. Like, yeah. And smashed the back window of the car on the way to the gigs. Like, oh, I don't know, probably a whole series of calamities, really. Like losing my keys at a festival, with the harp in the car. I think I have. I think yes is the answer to that. But I haven't had any, like, the harp explodes on. I did open up the harp once, harp case. I had like this little travel harp for some gigs in France once, and I opened that up, and the soundboard had exploded, and the strings were just everywhere. And that in somewhere in this tiny town in France, and I had to try and find it. Yeah, I did. I like just like it's all a bit stressful. Those kind of things. Yeah.
I don't know why I'm heading to Brick Lane. I hate it there like everybody does.
I don't really hate Brick Lane. The favourite place, I don't know. The thing is, since I've like not been living around East London proper, even though I live in Limehouse, and then I've lived in different places now, like Tottenham and Suffolk, very different places. Now I do think I really love East London. That sounds really corny, but like it is quite nice that lots of friends all live around, and there's a bit of a community. When I first moved to Limehouse, I thought it was great. There's no coffee shops. There's none of that wanky bullshit. And then now I kind of really miss going to a nice coffee shop, and I wonder when the coffee shops are coming. No, that's the problem. People like me ruin places like Limehouse. But favourite place in London? I don't know. I think I do really sort of love London. On the whole, maybe I feel like that's kind of the thing about East London is you're not really meant to like it or say you like it. You just sort of, everyone just happens to live there and do everything there. But I like the marshes, the Clapton, Walthamstow marshes. I always feel quite fond of them when I go through them, I suppose. Well, I've got the launch. The launch is on October 2nd. So I need to practice and make arrangements for that, and I'm going to make some harp versions of, because there's actually quite a lot of, there's not that much just harp on the record, even though I wanted there to be. I ended up not being pleased with the ones that did have more harp on. So I'm going to record some arrangements next week, and as kind of bonus tracks, and the Jarvis group I've been playing with in that, Jarvis Cocker, and then we finished some recording, so there might be some bits more of recording, because that album hopefully will come out, and I'm going to have the baby in the end of October, and then that will probably take up all my time for a while. Yeah.